Welcome back to the Tailosive Tech Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. So, I just got to come out and say it. Mike, do you feel special that you have a 14 Pro when the wait time is this long?
I
Does that
like.
make you feel better?
Let
than
me
us?
let me check my phone here.
What?
Hey! Hey! You can't do that! You cannot. Hey! That is Thanos' phone in the building, y'all.
This
My
was not
goodness.
planned, by the way.
Doesn't
He
feel
was
good.
teasing us with information for the EV podcast. And he's like, you'll just have to wait for that. So now my mind is all focused on what he's going to say on the EV podcast. And then he freaking pulls out a... Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So, Randy, how do you like the giant lenses?
I wasn't
on the-
sure how I was gonna do this, but the fact that was the opening question, I said, you know what? Screw it. Let me just check my phone. What are wait times looking
I
like?
totally walked into this now because I did not expect Randy to pull this out. And I thought Mike was going to be the only 14 Pro owner.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I found an interesting situation with the pairing, though. Okay. When I went to go try to pair when I went to go try to pair. Oh, that's funny.
Shout to all them pairs.
I did the joke wrong. I'm actually
They're in your ears.
I'm wearing the wrong AirPods.
Ah! He
Wow.
also got that. So that whole intervention episode we had a couple weeks ago,
Wasn't it last week?
you finally caved and just bought everything?
What episode was that on? I gotta take a look.
Oh my
Stop.
goodness!
Wait, what
I
time
swear to
did
God, if you have the iPad Mini 6, I'm
what
going to
time
get
did
out
we
of the
have
car.
that episode?
Randy, tell me you bought the iPad Mini 6 as well. If not, you bought everything.
At this
but
rate,
what
I
thought
think,
you were gonna
I think
get.
he's about to acquire Apple.
What do you
Well,
think?
I mean, when I take a look at my spreadsheet, no, I'm just joking. This is the iPad Pro. But
world-
which gen?
That's an iPad Mini. Randy's just small.
You know what?
That's
I
what it
did
looks
well.
like.
I guess that indicates if I should keep these AirPods or not because I put the wrong ones in the ear, trying to spoof you guys.
Whoops.
All right. So, what was it 2 weeks ago? You were saying I wanted to go look at the 14 and the Gen 2. Well, yeah, the 14 Pro, the Gen 2 AirPods Pro, and then possibly the iPad Mini 6, and maybe the was it the Ultra Apple Watch? But or was it someone ran out with the last Ultra, and then you didn't want to bother with the 14 Pro, but you're still interested in the iPad Mini 6. And so you caved and got everything but the iPad Mini 6.
So, for our listeners or viewers, we're still an Apple-centric show, so that's why we're doing this first. Let's pretend like everything's fine in the world with tech or social media, and just talk about Apple for a little bit. Just a little bit. There's a reason. I'm gonna be 100% honest with all you guys, Drew, Mike, and audience. All this was on accident yesterday. I bought it yesterday.
Oops. I accidentally bought everything at Best
Wait,
Buy.
wait,
or
Slipped
at
on a
Apple
banana
Store.
peel outside the Apple store.
And I bought
Threw out his credit card for balance, and it slipped across the card reader.
Whoops.
when
Whoops.
Drew said 2 days ago, either a tweet or a stream. I was somewhere. Either you were talking about it in live time. It was or it was a tweet. I don't remember. But Drew had said everything's delayed with iPhone 14 Pro. I was like, well, I'm not shocked. Chip shortage this and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, okay. Let me just. And what I occasionally do is I jump online to see. I was like, well, is there anything in my area? If I was in San Diego right now, I would have to wait the 6 to 8 weeks. I feel like add extra weeks to it,
Ooh.
because big populated areas just swarm. I was like, let me
Yep.
check my little no town USA at an Apple store, and they had 128 gig Deep Purple, I think they call it, and I was like, and that was 2 nights ago. I was like, oh. In stock, I can place a reserve, but this was like 10 p.m. or something my time. I'm like, I have a rule. Don't do it right on the spot. If it's there tomorrow morning, I'll place the order. And so then yesterday morning I woke up and the 128 sold out. It was no longer in stock. I'm like, no. But then it said, there's a 256. And I was like,
Well, you're twisting my arm here. I guess I have to.
but with the military discount, I'm paying less than what the 128 would be for the 256. If I was to keep
So
it.
under 1,000?
$989 I think I paid.
Wow.
Pre-tax.
Impressive.
Most impressive.
Most impressive.
So I bought it. I was like, okay, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna keep it. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. Let me pretend I am. I bought it, and then
You just want to make sure no one else can have it.
yeah, because I'm like, why? I just want to like test something really quickly with it, and I wanted it in my
Sell it at a
controlled
premium.
environment.
So no
There you
wait,
go.
you could
Scalper.
scalp it. As
Oh my
a
God, you're
service to the
right.
community.
That's such a jerk move, but I'm a jerk.
Yes.
So then I get to the store, and I'm here to pick it up, and I had to drive an hour to get there. And then as I'm waiting, I just look at the guys like, "Hey, do you have like a Alpine Green Apple Watch Ultra, in stock?" And he was like, "Let me take a look. What size? The 49?" He's like, "No. I mean like the watch
There's only
band."
one.
He's like, the
Oh.
watch band. Like, do you want small, medium, or large? I'm like, oh, extra medium?
Extra
He's
medium.
like, let me see. I don't know. Because
Extra.
here's the Series 7. Still got it.
Okay.
It sits on my hand
Beautiful.
about, it really is. I have reviewed thoughts just with the last one. About right here, this is where the magnet loop kind of like stops at, and it's a bit much. I wish it stopped more like down here, and this is a large, so I was afraid this would be the same way with the
Just
Ultra.
get bigger wrists.
I'm trying to lose the weight, Drew.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
That's hard.
it is hard. Yeah, so I got the medium. They're like, yep, there it is. I'm like, oh, do you have AirPods? Do you have AirPods Pro? And he's like, yeah. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
one left.
This is Apple?
Apple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting that they had these.
I will say this. Anybody in the East Coast area, I did not go to this location, but evidently if you are near the DC area, because they got like 5 Apple stores up there in the metropolitan area, the greater DC, Baltimore, Arlington area. Someone over there has something of like, maybe it's not all at one store, but they're all over the place. And I saw after I had made the purchase that the phone that I would have really wanted had I been serious about it is at Annapolis, Maryland, which is where like the Naval Academy is at.
Go
The
get
Naval
'em.
Academy is so big. It has its own Apple store, but that's like maybe 15, 20 minutes outside on the outskirts of DC. And they have the 128 Space Black. And that's the one where I was like,
Ooh.
I might keep. If I was able to get that one, I can't promise I would have the discipline to return it, because every time I held it, and I did a side by side with the purple, and that I was like,
The
oh
logic
my god,
here.
it's so beautiful here. But
I don't need a 14 Pro,
Randy cha-
but I would keep one if it was a space black or space
It's
gray
beautiful,
one.
Mike.
So I caved and got the deep purple one.
Well,
with
no, I didn't go.
256.
So I didn't go to that region. I went down to Virginia Beach.
I know.
I went
This
opposite
is-
direction.
I love the logic of like, I don't need a new phone, but if
So get
it
this.
was available to me, I'd get that one. So instead, I got the deep purple one.
Well, I mean, 14 days is a long time. I asked, I was like, do you have the Green 13 Mini, any configuration? And they had no Green 13 Minis. I was like, oh, come on. Come on. Wait, do you have any 13 Minis? Like, yeah, we have the white with the black and product red for sure. And I was like, ooh, I kind of want the product red. But I'm like, I like green more. I like the green more.
So Randy Caven got all 3 colors.
I did not. So I compromised and bought all of them.
I compromise.
No,
I can't just pick one.
To tell you the truth, I would have came home with a 13 mini green yesterday, and that one I got the wife's approval, ladies and gentlemen. She said,
Whoa.
out of all the phones, I could get the 13
Impressive.
mini.
It's a phone for our kid.
No,
It
it's
makes
a phone
sense.
for me. I'm the kid. This 13 Pro
It's
Max
for
that I'm
me.
filming on has served more function doing what it's doing right now on my tripod than anything
Hey.
else. I was like, this is the
So you're like me
perfect-
now. You have a phone filming you, and you can still play with your phone, unlike someone in the car.
Yeah.
No, I can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
to
got
eat
the
my own
approval for
words.
the 13 mini. So when she came home, I didn't even tell her until afterwards. She came home and on the counter I have all these open boxes. I look like a druggie. Just all this, just a
Honey,
mess.
what did you do?
And I was like,
Just one more. Just one more.
I can quit whenever I want.
Has the iPad Mini 6 on his computer screen right next to him. It
goes,
was like
"What's
a big
wrong
red
with-"
She was
circle.
like, I asked you to get flour, and you just have all these Apple boxes stretched out.
She goes,
Honey,
"What's wrong with your
Let
watch?"
me explain.
It got stung by a
Did she
bee.
ask that?
She was like, "What is up with the watch?" And I'm like,
What happened?
"Well," and I was like, "Do you like Boba Fett?" And she goes, "Who?" And I was like,
It takes the ring off.
Oh, jeez.
Oh God.
Well,
I
So-
don't know where to start.
I
okay.
think-
I,
jealous.
I just listen now at this point.
I will
Right.
give you. Let me answer the questions that are the obvious ones, and then we can just go from there. And I will
Okay.
speed run it. One,
Okay.
Series 7, extremely comfortable, very minimalistic. I love the design. I love the weight. I love everything about the Series 7. I don't want to let this one go, to be honest with you. This is the first time I'm struggling about letting something go, and it's the Ultra is a new form factor. I'm tired of looking at that damn gash on my screen. Thank you, Mike.
Mhm.
So, AirPods Pro. I am wearing the wrong AirPods Pro, so I don't even know what that means.
I assume you tried the new ones at least.
Dude,
But
the
then
ANC
grabbed the wrong
is
ones.
no joke, though. When I put that on,
Yes.
that was amazing.
Isn't there a
That
new
was-
update
Yeah.
that kills the ANC because of a patent troll currently stopping ANC
I
from
think
happening?
that was a different. I think that was the Max,
Okay.
The Max.
but I don't know if
No
that's
one's buying
applied
the
to
Max.
the Pro 2s. Or
Got it.
Says the
Don't
dude
worry.
who did buy the
Randy's got
Max
the-
and then returned them to Amazon.
The Max. Oh, you mean the? No.
Oh, dude.
But yes, I didn't think the ANC would be noticeable, but it was. I was like,
It's
wow.
actually really cool. And maybe that's why I didn't notice, because I do transparency when I talk to you guys. So
Mm-hmm.
AirPods Pro, cool. Remain to seen. If I was able to get the bigger Series 7 that we initially talked about, if that was still on the refurbished, that's the one I would have bought. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying the Ultra. I see exactly everything what you mean, Drew, about the corners and the pivots and the divots and all the other. I get it. Yeah, but this screen is beautiful, bright, and the whole thing is extremely light. I am not accidentally hitting buttons. I hate the limitations of the action button. I wish I could map it. And
I think you can.
No, I can't. To what I want, I would map it to automatically open up the camera. I use that
that'd be
function
nice.
a lot.
Oh,
I wonder if you could
I
do that
tried
with
create-
shortcuts.
I tried, and it does not acknowledge it on the watch, only on my phone.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. So,
interesting.
but the color, I love the what, ceramic titanium whatever with this green. This feels like the Rivian on my wrist. And I love it.
It's the
I
Rivian of watches.
It's the Rivian of
Well, it's
watches.
the Cybertruck
I
of watches,
hate,
but that's okay.
I hate the G-Shock,
One
the
exists and one
G-Hook
doesn't.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like this.
Why didn't you get the other strap? Not the Alpine, but the Trail or whatever. There's a Velcro one.
Probably didn't have it.
They didn't have the
This
Velcro.
At least that was my situation.
This was really these were the only ones that they had in stock. I would have to
Okay.
buy. They had the bands separate. I'm like, but when you order it, can't you just put it on top of one another and box it up and here you go? And they're like, no, you have to buy it separate.
They used to, but yeah, they changed the packaging, which
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen now with the Ultra. It's all booklet, big old.
Yeah,
You get an Apple book with the Ultra.
yeah. And then
You get a
with
free
the phone,
MacBook?
the color's cool. The color's dark. I
It looks
appreciate
good on this camera. It
Oh,
looks
yeah.
a lot different from the way it does on the website.
this is more true to, if anything, it's maybe a little bit darker than what the camera's showing right now. But I actually appreciate how I like this in space black a lot. These are great colors. And outside of green, my second favorite color would be like a type of deep purple like this, because it's just
Right.
it feels royal. I don't know, something.
Well, purple is royal. It is a color that was hard to make back in the day, so you do have a royal color.
Yeah. The only thing I actually like about this, I'll be honest with you, from the offset, I didn't care then. I don't care now. Dynamic Island, I don't care. It's fine. It's cool. I appreciate the attention to detail. I was playing music and the color waves match it. I do think it does, or it will solve, what's it called? Multitasking. I think it does
Okay.
actually solve it if we can implement it more, where we hold it open and we can actually like do more with it in like later updates or major updates like iOS whatever.
Yeah, I'd agree. It does have its limitations. With my experience, I've used it, I think used it the most on the podcast, yeah. But like, at least in general use of like the population that has 14 Pros and Maxes, I use mine for sports tracking because I'm into hockey this season. So I usually have some game with its live score up, in which I've found some bugs with that. Sometimes it doesn't update correctly. But otherwise that, plus turning on and off the ringer or listen to music or Face ID, looking at whatever app, banking apps and all that. So stuff like that, I've utilized it to its best extent. I like, and just like what you said, Randy, they could do so much more. And I think that's what the 15 and onward will, or I guess iOS 17 and onward will excel
Yes.
at.
They're
They're probably holding a lot of stuff back for iOS 17. I'm guessing.
let us
so it
see.
will
Let us
feel like
play
a
with
bigger
it.
update.
See what it
Yeah.
feels like. See what third party people will do with it.
I think notifications could all be dynamic island stuff, like when you get a text.
I think everything could be dynamic island now. To be
Yeah.
honest. And I
Aren't
say
we
that
all
in
just
a way,
one island?
it's a dynamic continent.
Ooh, there you
That's
go.
the next one for the Pro Max. Oh, speaking of, the only thing that I am absolutely in love with, not the color. Color's amazing. Not in love with. I'm in love with the form factor. It does not feel heavy. It doesn't fall out of my pocket. I put shorts on that would normally the 13 Pro Max would slide out of, and I've got enough scratches on the screen to showcase its bruising. This is a phone. It fits perfectly in my Model 3 wireless charging. I have to finagle this one a little bit to get it like right
Really?
there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have a different.
I do have a
charger,
third party.
that's right.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
So the
We got
form
3 different
factor.
generations of chargers.
Holy
Anyways.
crap! I don't want another Pro Max. Last last big size thing.
That's
I've
what we
ever
want,
had.
baby.
Yeah,
Randy,
Woo!
Randy changes his position faster than the official check mark on Twitter.
Hey,
He was like, I am so happy with the 13 Pro Max. I don't even want to try the 14. I don't even want to bother. And then you're like,
opportunity
this is so
came
great.
up. Wait, no. Hey, hear me out, Drew. Hear me out. The 13 Pro
Let's
Max.
hear your truth.
This is my truth.
Man,
there are
this is
2
a
check
sliding
marks.
scale.
There are two.
There are it's not binary. There's only 2. No, check. There's
dear
identify it with 3. Yeah. Listen, the 13 Pro Max is perfect as a camera. As a camera, it is my perfect camera. I see the marginal improvement with the camera system for 14 Pro. and I appreciate it.
2/3 of this podcast is shot on 13 Pro Max, for the record.
Yeah, the 13 Pro or any camera system in the Pro iteration from 11 forward is marginal improvement, and all are welcome changes every year, and I love all of them equally for the incremental updates or just improvements. But this phone is a camera first. I've been consistent with that, and I still feel that it's a camera
true.
first, and I love that's a camera first, and because it is, I want it to be as big as possible for the view, so I can read or look at the media that's being recorded, or the battery life if I'm out and about. Everything that I needed to do for camera purposes, which is a lot of the times that's what I do. I love it. The 14 Pro feels more like a phone, and I love the comfortability of holding it or putting it in my pocket. I feel more confident holding that phone. It's not a camera first; it's a phone first, and that's where it's this weird teeter-totter. But that's why I wanted the Mini. That's why I got approved, to get the Mini, because I was like, I want a phone.
Yeah, you got approved.
I got approved.
The wife verified you.
Yeah. So that's the biggest change, really. I understand the appeal of all of them, but and the last thing that no one's gonna ask, I don't know if I'm keeping any of these products. This is just
You don't know?
I don't know.
Oh no, it's been
That means it's
15
possible.
days. I guess I kept all of them.
I paid $2,000.
Do you think we'll have an answer before the last episode next week? For the record, everyone, this is the second to last episode of
The
the year,
penultimate
and then we're taking
episode.
our break.
I feel pretty quick about having conclusions on a lot of things each year. I think it's safe to say I will, because I will use these things pretty regularly. But I'm not like Drew in the sense that I did not eSIM it over, because I'm that not confident. My phone is my 13 Pro Max. So I'm going to Marquez Brownlee it and have two phones with me at all times.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
And see if you can tell the difference. Luckily, they're different sizes, so it should be a little easier for you than it was for me. Where I
No
couldn't tell which
one's
one I was
asking me
using.
if portrait mode is 2x or not.
That was the moment I decided it wasn't for me, was because of Randy texting me while I was at my grandma's house. He's like, does portrait have 2x? I don't know, let me check.
no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Oh. Wait a second. Looks at the camera.
I did pair the Ultra to the 13 Pro, so if anything, it might be an indicator. I might keep the Ultra.
Wow.
So if anything has a chance of surviving in order, it'd be Ultra, AirPods Pro 2nd Gen, iPhone, in that order. But
Well, the Ultra is the most durable, so it would survive, likely in a shock, intense circumstance of 2 weeks of buying random products. I don't know where I'm going with this.
I just wish the Series 7, the bigger size Series 7, was still accessible on the refurbished page. I would have
Yeah,
happily
you
bought
shouldn't
that.
have brought that up. People scooped it out from under you, I think.
My rule is I give it 24 hours before I make a decision, and that's what I did with the 14 Pro as well. And when it was there, after I was like, I woke up with a clear mind. Okay, I will buy it with the intent of reviewing, but with the possibility of maybe holding on to it. Oh, it's sold out. 256. How much storage is on my 128? I'm over halfway full. Yeah, that could be a problem. All right, fine. Fine. Whatever.
You get the 4K ProRes that you'll never use.
Like action mode. I ran in my house once and Kika looked at me like, what the hell are you doing? I'm going to send it to you guys. And
That's
if you
what
wanna
I
put it in
do.
the yeah. She's like,
I just
"What are
want
you
to
doing?"
get like a static far away shot of Randy running through his house with everyone testing action mode be like.
I have a skit idea that I totally came up with by myself.
I was going to say random parademon at 3 a.m. in my house be like. It's just Randy running through his living room from like a security camera point of view.
That'll be the big change for what are we on? Is this the Series 6 of the Tech Podcast?
Nick?
Don't ask me.
Nick?
Nick.
Where's Nick? I don't know. if we're starting Series 7, the new edition will be Randy has to do a skit for every week, and then we put that in the chapters.
I'll do it. That's fun. That's
Well,
a great
I guess-
creative challenge.
Here's a
I
good
love that.
question,
There you
though.
go.
Did the Apple Watch Series 1 or original Apple Watch come out the same year that you guys started the podcast? No. Came out a year before?
We've always been a year or two behind, I think, because we've had a year for them to be like, on this season. I remember us having a joke about like the Series 5 ad was "This watch tells time," and then it was like, "This podcast is," we were
This
trying to
podcast
mimic the Apple Watch
passes
marketing.
time. Now
Yeah, there you go. Let me find it. There's a way to set the season on.
Nick was very methodical about the branding of the seasons and the schemes. He filmed.
Hey, can I just say, Nick left some big shoes to fill. Quite literally.
Literally, Nick
I'll bun you
planned a year in advance. Like when we saw the Series 6, I believe, he filmed in advance all the same angles that they were announcing the Series 6, and
Yes, we're on Series 6.
we're on.
For the record.
Okay. Maybe it was Series 5 then. He pre-planned Series 5 a year. Yeah, that's what it was. Because in 2020, oh my God, all the scenes that he shot me in 2020, most of
Yes.
them were shot when we released in 2021 the promo. Most of those things were filmed in 2020 at the beginning of
Yeah.
COVID or pre-COVID.
I remember that.
He came out and we were hanging out like beginning of 2020, and we're like, all right, dude, here's what we're gonna do for Series 6 or Series 5, and he had this whole like, I felt like I was on a production set. Like, all right, we're gonna do this. He was very like, Nick, you ever thought about going into the line of work of like me? Like, you're very good with this. He's like, oh, but accounting. That was back when he was on his accounting kick, which he's never loved. We missed you, Nick.
Which,
We do.
yes, we do. Which, ironically, Nick is the only one out of the four of us that is verified.
Wow. How cool is that?
How cool is that?
How cool is that?
Guys, Twitter freaking blew.
Twitter freaking blew. They blew it.
Randy has Twitter purple right now.
The amount.
Yeah, hold up. Before we do that,
Okay.
is the Ultra you said is the most likely thing you're going to keep, but nothing's decided. It's up to the next week of, well, we're recording on Thursday, so you have over a week to review all this stuff before you hopefully come in with the season 6 finale and say, here's what I'm keeping.
Will they,
here's what I'm
won't
not
they?
keeping. And then you'll change your mind like a week after we record. Do something again. But I predict that you'd want to keep the Pro 2s more than the Ultra, but it's interesting that you listed it in that order.
This is my pro trip mode moment, Drew. I did not know I was wearing the wrong AirPods.
Well, I feel like, I mean, use cases aside, that's, if you want my experience, that's the product that I've returned this year that I've felt the most torn on.
The
Because-
AirPods?
Yes, because I've run into multiple circumstances where I've wanted to, let me get this right and not butcher the story again. My phone is charging on MagSafe Duo, and I want to charge the AirPods, but my watch is fine. But I can't because I have the old AirPods Pro, so they don't charge there. So I have to find a lightning cable, and I don't want to find a lightning cable. So there's been multiple situations where I'm like, I wish I could charge the AirPods with the watch puck. And there's been times where I'm like, I wonder what my AirPods Pro 2 battery percentage is at. But I don't feel like grabbing the case and opening it so that it appears in the widget. That feature's been kind of missed. It's like being able to always see the percentage in the widget with AirPods Pro 2, whereas AirPods Pro 1, they go into like standby mode and you can't see the battery percentage in the iOS widget. Those two features have been very tempting, the audio quality, the better transparency mode, yeah, I agree with you. It's not super noticeable to me, but I feel like you're the audiophile. You would notice that kind of thing more than I would. Um, but at the end, I could justify it by saying I know that they're going to get cheaper through Amazon deals. You're going to be able to find them for much less. So because I wasn't in a huge rush and these are replaced recently, so they have fresh battery health, it's like, yeah, I can afford to wait. I can afford to hold out for a discount, or maybe depending on how well these last for me, I could stretch it to hopefully a USB-C or portless AirPods Pro upgrade, where it's certified, verified in the eyes of the EU, and they're like,
Twitter Blue
"Yes,
verified.
you can sell this here." But Ultra, I haven't missed at all. I've not been in a circumstance where I've been like, man, I can't do this with the Series 7, but I could with the Ultra. Like, that hasn't come up. Same thing with the iPhone. I haven't missed Dynamic Island. I don't think about it. It's not on my mind at all. The camera, the thinner bezels, I'm not like, I wish it still had that. But it feels just like a phone to me. I feel very comfortable and at home with the 13 Pro Max, but Randy's definitely wishy-washy though on what he wants to keep and not keep.
Right.
But
yeah, at least if I was in that position, I think the order that I would probably get rid of him is somewhat similar to Randy's.
Okay.
I mean, I still haven't really done a long test on the Apple Watch Ultra, or I put it on my wrist twice in the last month and a half or two or whatever. I'm like, oh, cool. It's bigger than my regular watch, but I do like the design of it. I think I could get used to it, though we're getting into winter weather, so I'm wearing longer sleeves, so it might get caught on and all that. So that'd be maybe my one iffy thing about the Apple Watch Ultra. But I think I'd be very much similar in the same vein as Randy with I'd probably keep the watch, get rid of the AirPods Pro 2, and, well, I already have an iPhone 14 Pro, but either or. I'd be in the same thing because I'm also in the same position as you, Drew, with the AirPods. Like, I just got mine replaced. I've got 2 new AirPods, old case and all that, but
yeah,
they work perfectly fine. They have excellent battery life right now. They've integrated well with the iPhone 14 Pro and all that. So I'm pretty much content with all of my devices right now. But if there was a wish list, it'd probably be the Apple Watch Ultra. I don't think the new ANC is that much worth it. But I digress.
Sure. Especially if you can wait and get them at a discount and not too
right.
distant future.
Because that's something that you can also do. I think you and Randy both have in common is that you both can wait for the AirPods or the Apple Watch Ultra to go a cycle or two, and then they cost less on Certify or Refurbish, or you can find them on eBay or wherever else, and then get them. And then, ta-da, you've now gotten a product that is still pretty decently good, both of them. And they probably are not going to get an update anytime soon, or at least we don't know. But you can get them for a pretty cheap price, and you only had to wait a year plus or whatever, maybe.
Yeah. Is Randy able to hear us right now? I can't tell what's going on.
I can hear you guys, yes.
Okay.
For whatever
Randy
reason,
basically dropped the call and joined the call like 3 times.
It does.
Making all these
AirPods
faces.
Pro 2 does not want to communicate with Discord.
Well, they're gone then.
Interesting. That answers that question.
But and then I just put them in the wrong case, and I was like, oh, did I just break it? So, yeah, AirPods Pro 2 not Discord friendly. Even though I reset it the application, I noticed something immediately when I put them in, and it makes me reevaluate the whole tip situation with AirPods.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same size, like small, medium, large, or extra small. They're the same size, but they fit completely different in my ear.
Weird.
So now I wonder, do these like wear over time? Like the older tips, do they wear down or?
I don't think they
looser?
necessarily wear down. I think they get deformed a little bit to your ear. And so then, even though that they are somewhat like not press fit to the shape of your ear in a way, they get deformed in a way that they may not provide the same cushion in a certain spot in your ear than a new set of tips would. So, possibly.
Yeah, extremely more comfortable. And I noticed too, because it was transparency to transparency, the moment I put them in, there is a clarity with the new AirPods Pro that I did not, Drew's like, audiophile, let him figure it out. I now can't unhear the tiniest little hiss in the older AirPods that just like with transparency, it's picking up background noise like a and I know this mic didn't just pick that up for you guys, but on OBS you hear it. There's the slightest little and I'm like, ooh, this is, I hear it. That with the AirPods, which it might be actually picking up something that's in my room, like my speaker monitors might making that noise, but then the AirPods Pro 2 artificially mutes it. So I only hear clarity. And I was able to hear like almost like my dog breathing. I was like, whoa. She's asleep. She's a heavy sleeper sometimes. But I was like, whoa, okay. So besides
his spidey senses tingling. They had that like depth of field thing when he puts in AirPods Pro 2. It's like everything gets wide angle and POV shot.
you mean
try transparency mode? Yeah, like that.
Yeah. So besides the Discord situation, I'd say 9 out of 10 with AirPods Pro 2. I understand your frustration about the whole charging thing. When I showed my wife the MagSafe Duo, I was like, hey, look at this. In the past, I did this whole Steve Jobs presentation.
Here's a demo.
I did demo. And she goes, okay. And then I was like, now with the new ones, speaker, bling. And she goes, oh, okay. And I showed her with I took off my watch, the phone. I showed her all these different things. And then I said it in a way that I didn't allude where I was going to. So I had, first I go, all right, watch puck, phone, MagSafe, charging. She goes, yep, that's what that does. All right. AirPods, old gen, charging, wireless. Yeah. MagSafe puck, or the watch puck, nothing.
See, it's hard. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. The watch puck.
The watch puck, and she goes, yeah, right. It's like, but here it just does it, but no magnets. She goes, yeah. But then it's like it clicks on the MagSafe. There it goes. She goes, oh yeah. And then I'm charging my phone. But what if I need to charge this? She goes, oh my God, you're gonna put the AirPods on the phone.
So much excitement.
And I was like,
which it could do, but they don't let it.
They don't let it.
For the record.
I was like, yeah, no. And I move over. Watch puck.
Yeah, no.
Gling. She goes,
these are 3 separate products.
Are you getting it? Right.
Yeah. So she kind of,
these are not one device.
she stole my thunder. She goes, oh my God, you're going to put it on the phone. I'm like, no. Did I just put it on the Apple Watch charger?
I picture your wife just like annoyed with you on the couch under a blanket, and you come out with this table with a black tablecloth
giant
over
extension
it, and
cord coming from a plug.
You have the
on
black
the other side
turtleneck in the round glasses. And
now, do you
like,
want to see these demos or not?
Turn off the Wi-Fi.
She's completely
off your phones.
annoyed with me.
You're right, like, turn off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, she's completely annoyed
and she
with
just
me.
shuts her phone off.
and
you're like,
they're really
I
great
can wait.
demos.
I've got time.
I can
and
wait.
then you were like, here's the purple 14 Pro. I'd like 4,000 lattes to go, please.
Just kidding. Boop, boop, boop. But I come out with my turtleneck. I got a really cool. Do you want to see these demos or no? Well, you're just a lying SOB liar.
And we don't ship junk, you know,
Don't ship junk.
all that.
Yeah.
I wanted to add
That's
as well.
hilarious.
You're not the only one this week that got a purple 14 Pro, Randy. No, my mother
God.
upgraded to a purple 14 Pro, so I've gotten to see it in person, and it does look pretty. She has a nice little like Van Gogh case, but it's like a clear case, so it's very interesting, like seeing like basically what I've got, but with like artwork of like Starry Night on it or with some leaves or I forget. Anyways, it looks great. I had to help her out with her watch and all that, and she's thinking about upgrading her watch too. So hopefully she doesn't go for Ultra. I don't think she would.
Oh,
but
wow.
I'm your grandma now, Mike.
Grandma,
Look at me.
no, you're.
Look at me.
If anything,
I
you're
am
my
grandma
aunt.
now. I only got the purple so quickly as I did. I was kind of sold
It's
on
the
it.
Vision meme. Perhaps I am Mike's grandma.
So
My brother has the 14 Pro, and he's like, dude, he's the guy. His favorite. He always gets black everything or blue. Like his favorite color is blue. He's like, dude, I'm so glad it's so good. It's so clean. He never gets. This is his first Pro phone. He always gets the base iPhone.
That's what's
And-
shocking to me. It's anecdotal evidence, but everybody I know is getting the Pro. I have not met or seen anyone that has gotten the regular 14 or 14
'Cause it
Plus.
sucks!
Everyone's exactly. It's the decoy.
It's
would've known.
BS. It's last year's phone.
yeah.
Get a 13
So-
mini.
I think this was kind of funny, Drew. Is you opened up this podcast with like, "Are you feeling?" What was the words that you're saying? Basically, around the
You
lines
feel
of,
special.
"Do you feel special owning a 14 Pro?" And in the last, what was it, like 40 minutes that we've been doing the podcast, we've got Randy who just got a new 14 Pro, my mother who got a new 14 Pro. Next, we'll know Louise got a 14 Pro. And
No.
there's no shortages.
hell no.
It's all fake news.
Oh my God, hell froze over.
She's a couple bad moves away from going back to her iPhone 6.
No.
I think that would be her next choice. If the SE died, she'd be like, well, I'm going back then. She is
She just
very
regresses.
different from...
She goes all the way
Yeah.
back to the iPhone 3G. Ah, yes.
People
Perfect.
are always confused by that. They just assume by association my wife has to be interested in iPhones and tech stuff. No, she's the person who still, at several points in this year, was like, I wouldn't mind a flip phone. I could get by with that. She's like, I wonder what those cost these days. I'm like, honey, just don't. It's fine. Just keep your SE. It's good enough. So when people are like, does Louise want that? I'm like, ha, no. Oh, God.
She
dear
is
God.
the perfect. She is everything you're not. And
In all the good
in
ways.
every way.
attract.
she is the perfect balancer
she's
to
the perfect.
everything. She's just perfect.
She is
And-
the static peninsula to your dynamic island.
You're my 120 hertz, babe. You're my
You're my promotion.
meaning I can't stop looking at you.
Oh my goodness. Get out of here. It's not Valentine's Day yet.
You're my macro
getting
photography
there.
because I can't stop. Never mind.
I can't stop getting closer. Will you be my stage manager? We're gonna sell Valentine's cards. I think.
Be
So
my
anyways.
center stage. So wherever I go, there you are.
Are you an M2 chip? Because I'm overheating. Mike is ready to hang up the call right now. He's just like, oh, God.
Oh, I'm all in for
Stop.
like corny jokes. I'm all about dad jokes. Just look at my Twitter handle. Or not handle, but bio or whatever. It doesn't say official, but it does say dad joke enthusiast.
It doesn't say.
Do you guys think let's
brother.
let's make the second half about Twitter now. Do you guys think that all these people who are. Let me say it like this and then jump in. I don't want to.
I
I don't
love
want to
that
corner you.
segue.
Yeah, well,
You
because
say it like it's a chore. You're like, okay.
it kind of is. It kind of is. For the record,
This is gonna be like the old tech podcast where we save EV for later, and then eventually we're
Let's
gonna
talk
have it
about
as a Twitter
HDMI.
podcast.
we're gonna have a Twitter episode or podcast about all the things Elon's doing. Here's the thing. Look, I have never seen so many people yell and crap on Elon about this, and I've seen all those people. I saw so many of them become verified checks, and then the other market of it, the quiet people who didn't want to say nothing, even though I know they're mad, quickly become verified checks because they're like, I want to be verified. It's all vanity. It's all vanity. I just fundamentally can't listen. I'm happy for everybody who has their check mark. Twitter Blue should be a service first. It needs to be a service first. Keep your damn check mark. I'm indifferent about it. I don't know, but
If you like your check mark,
poorly aged things. Nick, actually, funny enough, Nick feels like out of anybody in our circle, he's the. Why not Drew, Randy? Because if you know Drew, then you know. Nick is the one who I feel like should be a Twitter Blue check mark because of how close he is to the flame.
I was not surprised at all. And for the record, I asked him before if he was going to get it. So I kind of knew he was, but
Same.
yeah, I could tell that was high on his priority.
I haven't even seen it. I didn't even know. He's got Twitter Blue? Oh, cool. Yeah, that makes sense,
Yeah.
right?
I called
Yeah.
him, we FaceTimed two nights ago, and we're just kind of catching up. And he was like, "All right, Randy, what are your thoughts on Twitter Blue?" I was like, "Oh, we're going there. Let's
Have
do
you not
it."
listened to the podcast?
Well, I've refined it since then. I've talked to Drew about it, and then I made it.
We talked a lot off the record on this
Yeah.
past week.
And then I refined it. I basically made it in tweet-size bits on Twitter since then too. So my statements are out there, and I fundamentally, as a content creator, so I'm coming from a certain lens myself. Like, I know I'm not speaking for most people, but as a creator myself, no, that's too wide of a net. I just want Twitter Blue to be. I hate every subscription service that you pay for something and you still get ads. Less ads. How about no ads?
Twitter Mac app.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Exactly.
You just need to
I was
carry your
using
Mac
it,
with
but
you
I
all the
didn't
time.
notice until you pointed it out. But I feel like Bob Odenkirk being like, "Hey, better download the Twitter Mac app."
He goes, "Did you know you can have a Twitter app with no ads?" Well, the Mac app says you can. Well, the Mac app says you do.
That's basically what this whole Twitter takeover feels like. Is like Elon on a bad lawyer commercial. "Hi, I'm Elon Musk. Did you know that you have rights?"
The Constitution says with the crappy green screen background. Hi. Did you
"Hi, I'm Elon Musk. I just bought Twitter. Did you know for $8 a month?"
Did you know that you can have a verified check mark? The $8 says you do.
Did you guys end up listening to that Q&A that I did
Yesterday?
Yeah. I listened to some of it. And
Oh wow, I'm the only one who didn't. Okay.
Oh wow!
Wow.
What a shill! What a fake!
And I was on Twitter at the time, for the record.
I was.
you weren't at the town hall meeting.
I was
How
at
dare
the
you.
Apple store picking up my stuff, and I was like, "Huh? No, just okay." I was waiting at the Apple store.
Completely empty store.
My only excuse is I'm at work. I've got nothing else to listen to, so I guess I'll listen
totally
to this
fair.
guy talk about why you should buy Twitter Blue and all that.
What
But
I was surprised by was how many brand accounts were in there. I
there's
saw
a whole
people
bunch.
posting.
Nike and
Here-
Forbes,
Here's who's
Bread.
listening, and there were all of the there was Paramount
Jay-Z.
Plus was listening.
Philip DeFranco. Get this guy out of here!
Yeah,
who
BMW
runs
USA.
these accounts, and who are they like? Elon's talking.
Oh,
We must
Better
listen.
Okay.
And then we PA it over everyone's, all the levels of our multi-level building where they're designing a new car. Listen to Elon Musk. He tells us what to do.
Mike,
He's going to
since
tell
you've
us whether we
listened
can
to it,
advertise. I took
what
some
were your-
quotes from it, but I thought it was
What are your thoughts?
interesting. He, of course, very much was selling to the advertisers and about how important ads are and also how important users are. So he's basically just preaching to the choir that was there at the town hall meeting of, we care about users, we care about advertisers, we don't want fake news or very shocking and non-ad friendly content right next to an ad. So they're talking about cracking down on some of that, basically things that are very not safe for work or inappropriate or incorrect politically in some way. So stuff like that. He also doubled down on the fact that something that I mentioned, I think in the last podcast, was I don't like the fact that just because you have a phone, a credit card, and email account, that means like you're verified in any sort of way. Like it doesn't make sense because anyone can have an email account, a credit card, and a phone number per se. They can open up a credit card with Wells Fargo or Bank of America or whatever and easily, oh, look, I'm now Nintendo of America and I can now post Mario flipping you off or whatever and all that. I don't know if you guys caught that. That was probably one of my favorite
That was great.
trolls and all that. But so stuff like that, I'm like, I don't think how this is how you become verified or how it helps with just having those three things. But he did mention
I just
later.
remember him saying, Twitter needs to be the source of the most accurate information possible, and then cut to the Mario.
Yeah, Mario just flipping you off and all that as Nintendo of America, quote unquote, tweeting at you. Or not at you, but
I
just
thought
tweeting
that
in
was
general.
more genuine than the real Nintendo tweets.
Kind of.
That's how I feel.
That's
about
more of how
Nintendo most of the
Sega
time.
is a lot of the time. But he did, reaffirm in a way or support it with, in summary, I don't think these are his exact words, but somewhat close of, if repeat instances occur of malicious intent, then we'll suspend them indefinitely, or them being the person who's doing that. So there is a way for them to identify, because you've now been verified through a phone, a credit card, an email account, they can take those three IDs and blacklist them in a sort of way if you keep on doing this, which I think is good because that's, I think, a decent way of moderating of, oh, you keep on doing this, then we'll ban you, versus just banning people left and right just because you don't agree with what they're saying and all that, which I liked.
So you'd ban those three things. So if they tried to make a different account with any of those three, then it wouldn't let them.
I believe so is what he was getting at with the statements.
Okay.
So I think
jumped
that's
in.
a better way to go about it.
I got in on the Q&A around that point when he started talking about that. And he was also quick to mention about forgiveness. He goes, people should be forgiven. I'm even stuttering like him. Like, what's funny is it was the most Tesla earnings call. Like, people are for the first time actually being exposed to Elon if they have no idea how he runs Tesla, and it felt so, I don't say like comfortable, but natural. Everything that was there. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's talking." I'm like, "You guys don't listen to the earnings calls or none of the like. You don't know how he runs his business." So he's 2 check marks. Now he just killed it. It's like, yeah, you haven't been paying attention to Tesla. He does stuff like this all the time. This is not. It's the most comfortable, management thing I'm used to see. It's like I'm used to how Elon's, and it's kind of like, okay. So he gets on and he's like, forgiveness. Like, do mistakes happen on both ends? Yes. And should we punish people? He's like, I don't want to be in the business of punishing. He's like, however, there are situations where they've always been against Twitter policy. And one of the other people, like the female host, she was saying that like we've always had moderation things in place, and we only had one of two approaches: delete the tweet, suspend the account. And we want to expand those two. We don't just want to delete the tweet or suspend the account. We want to have other variables, and that's what we're working towards now. To where Elon's like, I don't want to just suspend. There has to be other ways to do it. However, if it's malicious and it's provoked, if it's intentional, if it's premeditated, then yeah, you're a bad faith actor here. You're not trying to do anything good on the platform. You don't belong here. And he says, I see it. Freedom of speech and freedom of platform, or he made a comparison. He's like, you can go to Center Square area. You can go to any place, Times Square for New York, for example, and you could say whatever you want. But that doesn't mean I need to put you on my billboard and let people hear you say that. I don't have to do that, and I won't do that. You could still say what you want, even if you're on Twitter and you're not verified. You could be this crazy person who wants to say whatever you want, and that's your right, but I don't have to promote it. I don't have to amplify it. I don't have to draw attention to it, and I'm not going to. Mm-hmm. And the coolest, my takeaway from the Q&A that I think I had my first realization, if it does happen, is how he's actually trying to become a little bit like Amazon. He wants advertisers and product people. He's like, blur the line between your advertising and your point of sale. If you watch an ad and it's so compelling and you like it, you could buy it right there on the spot. A one-click payout, checkout process like on Amazon, where here's our ad, here's the product. Do you want it right there? And that's where I see where he's like a payment center as well. Like where it's like, oh, okay, this is where we can have your store. So your e-commerce section is right there. Here's the ad, and right next to the ad, here's the product. And it's as easy as just buy. And then the rest is done. He's like, if you have to go through the stages of putting your information.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Or click. Yeah, he goes, if you got to click to a different link and then filter your information, it's cumbersome. Now you're kind of over it. You're going to lose that sale. If it's right there, hey, yeah, I'll take it. Cha-ching. It helps Twitter. It helps the brand. And the customer gets what he wants. And advertisement worked. And that's when I was like, oh, that's the payment center he's talking about. Okay. Very Amazon. I don't hate that idea. I like Amazon for its simplicity when I'm shopping. I can search.
Financially, I think it's a good move. It's not something I see myself. I wouldn't shop on Twitter much. I don't use Amazon much, but
yeah,
I think that from a business perspective, if you're looking of ways to increase revenue and to make it more advertiser friendly, that's definitely a good way to do that. Is I feel like that's one of the biggest issues with Twitter is almost every tweet is directing you to a different platform.
He addressed that.
Go to this website, go to YouTube, and it's like, I think you're missing something here. And I didn't see, again, I didn't listen, but I saw his tweets about wanting Twitter DMs to become an alternative to, what did he say, Signal or Telegram?
Something like WhatsApp and all that.
WhatsApp.
Where you have encrypted messaging.
He wants to enhance the DM experience so that there's less reasons to stop using the app, essentially, which I think is... I just am in favor of more competition to Meta of any kind. So
here, Drew, you actually said something that he harped, and he goes, this is a redundancy I'm saying, but I want to get the point out. If anybody wants to understand what Twitter is about, just use the platform. Get a feel for it. Understand it that way. And if you guys don't like something, reply to me. He goes, it is my responsibility. The buck stops with me. Any failures is on me. And he was very open about that. It's like, there might be a leadership of sorts or a council I would put together, but ultimately it's my call, it's my decision, it's my responsibility. It would be my failure. If there's something you want to see improved, let me know. Tell me. If there's something...
I am your failure.
I am not your failure. I want to show you the song so bad. Anyway.
Okay.
He goes, the only way you can understand what Twitter's about for you guys is you need to use it. Because I think maybe this is something I missed earlier or something that he's definitely addressed in the past. A lot of people who have a lot of things to say about Twitter don't use Twitter like that. They're not active users. Use the platform. Get familiar with it. Stay on the platform. And everything that would make you want to stay here and hang out here in this digital space, what do you would want to see that improves this experience? Or what is something that you don't like? And how can we address that? I will be the one to look into it, and it will be my call, and any issues with it, it's on me. And I encourage all brands to reply to me directly, and I will do my best to get to you guys. My open door policy is just tweet at me or reply to me, and I will try to get to those tweets. It will come to me. My eyes will see them. That's what he was really pushing. That
when he's on the toilet.
When he's on the
I was
toilet.
going to say, cut to, was it this morning, him saying, I don't see any spam in the replies, and people taking screenshots of the spam and putting in the replies.
Yeah.
So there is still,
that's-
I would still say that there is somewhat of a barrier. That plus his statement on saying, please note that Twitter will do a lot of dumb things in the coming months. We'll keep what works and change what doesn't. Very controversial statement to say, which then he clarified on the Twitter Spaces Q&A and all that. But if you weren't on there, then all you've got is this one tweet that sounds very, very silly.
Yeah.
And all that.
It does. That's kind of what I expected, though. I think I said that in my videos. Is like he is a engineer first, who has spent a lot of his life on rockets and electric cars, and that type of mentality towards social media means quickly iterate and try new things, which often means try something until it breaks. If it's broken, try it again differently and see if it breaks less.
You're trying it
and
wrong.
Basically, you're trying it wrong. And his whole mentality is
Do
be
or do
less
not.
wrong. You're always wrong.
There is no try.
Yeah. So I think he's clearly made a lot of mistakes already that I don't agree with.
Yes.
I definitely did not realize. I think we talked about it last week. Mike mentioned that there was going to be basically no approval process. You just subscribe to Twitter Blue and then you get verified, no questions asked. And I didn't think it was going to work that way when Mike pitched it like that. I was like, no, there's still like a little form or something you got to fill out, or they check it before they actually give you the check. But Mike was right. That's exactly how it worked. They literally verified everyone who subbed without question, without inspecting the account, which my thought process was, no, they wouldn't be that stupid. That would be dumb. And then
Welcome to a week later.
happened. And I genuinely,
You must be new here.
literally laughed out loud when I opened Twitter and saw the official second check.
Dude.
I started busting out laughing. I was like, this is ridiculous. It's the exact same thing as verified. You just did it all over again. And now all the blue check means is that you paid for Twitter Blue, but it doesn't actually make you an official.
Have you seen the
real
new
verified.
update on the blue check mark now? What you do? You go to the person and you tap on the blue check mark.
Yes,
and
yeah.
it tells
I
you.
did see that. It tells you how they were verified.
Interesting enough, there are certain people in the community, not our community, but in a community, that who huff and puff, and when you click on it, they're not a person of importance. They are Twitter Blue, so they've been demoted from check mark to just Twitter Blue user.
And some people
And
lose
I'm-
that as well. If you're a verified person before Twitter Blue and then you subscribe to Twitter Blue, you lose whenever you click on that blue check mark. It'd be a different dialog box for if
Yeah.
you were verified before versus if you bought Twitter Blue. So you could
So
actually
there's your
lose.
peasants. Yeah.
Yeah, you've actually downgraded yourself if you've gotten Twitter Blue, which
Thank you for your $8.
yeah, right. So,
And you
Well,
can't.
I think he said that the legacy verification will be phased out, right?
I
So
I haven't seen that, but
He did say
possibly,
that they're
probably.
going to change the wording of it. Where my interpretation, and this is the thing, this is where it's all trial period here. It's going to change between now and next time we record. My interpretation is person of interest, like POTUS, will have the additional banner underneath their profile for obvious reasons, but then someone like Marquez will have a public like there
Content
is
creator.
well no like there's a catch. I'm forgetting the catch because I saw authors
Entertainer.
have this this title
Sure.
where it's they are of a not a publication because it's more than that. It's they have some type of like communal or societal contribution that's widely spread out, and it could be authors, which I saw, YouTubers, which we know, public figures like elected officials or CEOs. Some Bill Gates will be. Everyone knows who Bill Gates. Stuff like that. Like they
Everyone knows who this guy is. This is his title. You know who he is.
With the data belly emoji.
Oh my goodness! Imagine that. They make it so that you can't get rid of that. You can't edit that. It's just assigned to you because of who you are. And Elon's just like, ah ha ha. He gets pregnant emoji.
You can't change your name, by the way, if you're Twitter Blue. I saw someone tweet that. They're like, I subscribed just to see what it looks like. I've already unsubscribed, but I can't change because they have like all these emojis of fall. And they're like,
Yeah.
I want to put like winter stuff up, and I can't for 30 days for like Christmas, and like so now I'm just leaves.
Well, I agree with that decision. That
You don't like the name
causes a lot
changing
of
all the time.
problems if
I'm
yeah,
pretty
if
sure that's in
someone
the
wants to-
print, right? That's in the print. Like you're signing up, you can't be changing your name
Probably.
for fear
Yeah,
of.
it should be. That's how YouTube works, by the way. If you get verified, they say you can't change the name, or if you do change your name, you'll lose verification. I think that's how it works there. So
Yeah,
I get why they do that.
Something that someone brought up in the Taylors of Discord, which I thought was a good point, is it'll be a lot harder to tell who's reputable as like a journalist because anyone can be Twitter Blue or verified and all that. But my
Everyone verified.
no one's verified.
No
but
one's verified.
Wow,
my
what a
counterpoint. It sounds like very weird and like turnaround for my response that I also gave on Discord, but also my mindset is that this is kind of a return to form of sifting through news stories and telling whether they're accurate or not. It's putting more pressure on those who are small-time reporters who want to be verified, but you don't know whether they actually are a verified small-time reporter or if they're just some troll and all that. And also the user who's trying to look for information, like Drew, who's trying to find information about EVs or other stuff. It'll put more pressure on both parties to figure out what information is correct and what is being reported that's correct. It'll force you to actually look into previous publications from that person and see, okay, did they write this or did they just repost it from somewhere else? And then also, is that repost or this original post actually accurate per se of what is reality and what's going on? So it's a little bit more digging. It's a little bit more work on both ends for both people. But I think it sounds very pro-Musk supporting and all that. I think it's a great idea because we need to return to that cynicism or that critical thinking of what information am I looking at online and should I trust it or not, versus kind of what I've found in the Taylors of Discord and many other places as well, along with Twitter and Instagram and all that. It's just confirmed Mark Hamill's going to be in this Marvel movie and all that, or confirmed this is going to happen and all that. And it's just like, where's the source? Where's the reputation? And where's, like, give me some facts and all that. I'd rather see less of rumors and leaks and more of,
or just
where's
more
the
research. Like
Yeah,
what
more
you're
research.
what you're alluding to is a lot of people just go off of a title of an article. Oh my God! And they don't even actually read the article and it is such common practice now, even though everyone says don't do that, because it's clickbait. It's all clickbait. It's no different than, oh, did you see Drew's latest video on Telos of Tech? And it's just, he could say, metaverse is stupid. And even though, okay, so that's not really clickbait, but if you don't actually watch the video, understanding what he's talking about, you might miss a whole faction of the process of, like bigger picture. Or even when he, in that particular video, pivoting to what Twitter's doing, and there's more information provided, but someone who is more clickbaity, confirmed just to get the clicks, might have the adverse effect where it's like, now I don't need to click. You just give me the answer in the title, and it's not. And so now you become more like The Onion in that sense, where it's just like borderline parody, and no one's actually doing the research of it. And that's how, misinformation has always been kind of passed around, where, the iPhone 14 is going to have all MagSafe, or iPhone 12 is going to have a pencil docking because of that cutout right there, because it looks just like the iPad Pro, and that's the cutout right there. Obviously confirmed, Apple Pencil confirmed. And without actually looking into the research, saying that, well, this the CAD files shows this thing, but it also indicates, but you can have a God. Oh no, Mike, no.
For audio listeners, he plugged in his Apple Pencil 1 to his iPhone 14, and it was disgusting.
Anyways, yes, I think hopefully this change, which seems very dumb with not knowing who's verified and all that, through everyone getting verified slash Twitter Blue, maybe awakens a sort of critical mindset in a lot of other people. So that way we can get at it.
It's like a great equalizer then, in a way.
Kinda. It's like, crap, I don't know whether this person is true or not. Maybe some people will take the easy route and just be like, this is probably fine. This is probably good. Like the old mindset that we've been dealing with for a couple of years now, with just the spreading of information everywhere. You've got information at your fingertips where you can learn what's going on all the way in Russia, or something in your backyard at the simple keystroke and all that. And it could be true information. It could be false information. You don't know. So it could be as easy as that. Or you could take a little bit more critical thinking skills, apply it to your situation, and understand, oh, I guess the EV9 does have 300 miles of range and all that. We don't know. We don't know. So it's something that maybe it is an equalizer, Drew. Or maybe it's just adding more chaos to the fire that is this Twitter Blue situation.
Listen, at some point this week we had elections. There's going to be something new that catches people's ears, and they will move on the way people moved on from Joe Rogan, or they move on from whatever, or Kanye. Remember last week Kanye was something and now he's not.
Who's Kanye? All I know is
exactly.
Nick met him.
He lied to those, a security guard. I
forgot about that.
I think the apocalypse of Twitter is not going to be the same as like what happened, say, like on YouTube, where they were moderating how anyone could just post anything, and like I think those days are kind of like refined and matured. They kind of grew out of it. Twitter is just a hot buzzword right now, which is why we're even talking about it. Not really tech related. And
I mean,
we live on, though. It doesn't.
I was gonna say we do live on Twitter a bit. I mean, you tweet a lot per day, I'd say, Randy.
Yeah.
And the same with Drew. It's his business. It's him sharing his content. And for me, it's just checking up on you guys or news. So I think it's accurate, or not accurate, but it's applicable to our situation.
Right, but no, I guess what I'm saying is that like when no policies had went into effect, but then advertisers were trying to pull their stuff anyway. They're like, all right, we're not working here no more. When nothing changed policy wise with the platform, it's because it was kind of in the mob mentality of it all because of so and so whoever owns Twitter, and I think that wears off. That fades away. Elon is everybody loves a good villain, and it's easy to put that on Elon. The same way it was easy to put it on Trump when he was on the platform, or like I said, Joe Rogan, or whoever. Like, we love to be mad at something. That's just, community, societal, pressures.
Bring out
I
the
guess.
torches.
There's always something to be pissed about, and that's kind of frustrating, really. But at the end of the day, like, the services of a product that you use, like that should determine long-term turnout. Meta is crashing and burning because they're losing people on what they already have established, and they don't care because they're too involved in this whole metaverse thing. And
They're 2-star service, by the way.
they've gone back on promises or features that they were going to do. They've changed their courses to just kind of go all in on this thing. Therefore, no one's happy about it because it does actually affect something. The stock is affected. All that makes sense. When Tesla falls because of whatever's happening with Twitter, even though Elon is selling some of his stock, obviously to cover costs here, Tesla,
I didn't like that.
huh?
I just thought it was messed up because he replied to Sawyer Merritt at a time saying that he sold stock earlier to prevent emergency sale of stock later, but he's still selling stock now after saying he was done, because they asked, they're like, are you done selling stock now? And he said, yes, I just had to get it over with earlier. Now he's still selling stock. So I'm like, oh boy, more SEC investigation. But I like Randy's concept that Tesla shareholders should get Twitter Blue for free. I was like, we're the ones paying for this.
Yeah.
So we own Twitter now, right? That's how that works?
Listen, the stock is being affected because of what's happening on Twitter, which on a paper-only aspect makes no sense. The company's healthy, is doing great, and yet it just do. Like, oh no.
But he's liquidating a lot so that he can cover Twitter, which means our money's basically helping to pay for Twitter's expenses now as shareholders.
So there's your NFT idea. You own Tesla stock. You're now.
Do I get a little Tesla logo on my profile? Just
That's
because
it.
I support
How's that
this
for an
sort of
NFT
venture?
profile pic? Give me the hectagon. For
How cool is that?
how cool is that? I want the hectagon for being a Tesla shareholder.
Did you say hectagon?
In the spirit of trying to keep the podcast barely relevant, because we're recording this 2 days before the podcast goes up, there's a email that Elon just sent to the entire Twitter company. And
Again?
I was just reading over it.
Was it about the sink?
About letting the sink. There were memes that Elon was sending people just gifs of himself laughing, and it says you're fired, and that was what people were getting. I don't think it happened, but the fact that we had to clarify that it wasn't real, I think, says a lot about.
What's up with this email?
Yeah.
Basically, he said that the economic picture is dire, and he said that especially for a company like ours that's dependent on advertising in a challenging economic climate. He said 70% of our advertising is brand rather than specific performance, which makes us doubly vulnerable. So that's why they prioritize the Twitter Blue subscription, because he said that the advertiser spending is down and they need to get Twitter to, I think he said, roughly half of our revenue needs to be Twitter Blue in order to survive, which is quite ambitious in my opinion. I don't know how possible that is, but essentially he's working hard to hopefully satisfy the advertiser spending, and also saying that this is what I don't understand. Maybe he knows something I don't, but there's no no longer remote work allowed at the company.
Mm-hmm.
He said unless you have a specific exception, like physically unable to travel, or have a critical personal obligation. But everyone who shows up to the office has a minimum of 40 hours per week. So, to me, I always thought letting people work from home would cost less because you could downsize the size of the corporate office, or say that if you're living outside of certain city limits, then you don't get paid as much because your cost of living is lower. I mean, I've heard that that's how it's worked with other companies.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in
So
the Bay
it's fine.
Area. Oh,
Yeah. It's
What'd you say, Mike?
that's how mine works. If I go to work,
That's right. You were the one who told me that.
yeah. If I go to work, I get paid my full salary. If I work from home, I get a decrease on that pay. And if I work out of state or in a different location in the state, they'll adjust it based on that location's. They basically just adjust it to that area's payout. I'm totally missing the words in my brain. I'm not a financial guy. Hello, John.
You know, like,
that's
to me, it doesn't make sense that you would restrict that. To me, that feels like a cost cutting measure. It's like, wouldn't you want to encourage people to work from home if it meant you could pay them less?
That not necessarily, because there's for many people, I'd say there's a efficiency or a deficiency, I should say. There's a deficiency from working from home if you worked in the office before, because you're not accustomed to working from home before, and so you might get distracted more by some things at home, or you just might not have the will to get stuff done quicker versus being in a cubicle or being in whatever workspace that is in the office. So there is a lot
sure.
of
There
is a lot of
less
economic.
gets done.
Yeah. So then
oh, you
that's
fools! Mike just said he listened to the earnings call at work. people, listen. When I worked on base, 9-hour days. You think I was working all 9 hours?
No, but there is the idea that you are a little bit more focused on work at work, and there's also people
Yes.
around that will encourage that to happen. But what's also hilarious is there are also people there that just kind of want to talk about something, and yeah, they might inject the conversation in or initiate the conversation with, how's your day going? How are those reports going and all that? Something relevant to what you're working on. Mine would be like, how's the part going and all that? Whatever part that I'm analyzing and stuff. And then it'll just turn into, what are you doing over the weekend? Frisbee's cool. Dinner's nice. I traveled for this, or I've got these travel plans. So yeah, there is those distractions
Right.
at work too. But I think what the corporate mindset is that we need people sitting in the office working on the product, and there is a little bit more control of that space than there is of the control, or sorry, they've got less control of you being at home and enforcing you working versus you being at the company
Yes.
working. So I think that's
I understand the
some of the
efficiency
mindset.
gain. I just thought if his mindset is, they've fired half the company, so obviously there's going to be less stuff getting done. It's not an efficiency choice.
Twitter
we can
app
get more
for
done.
Mac.
It's not.
Stop saying
It's
that.
not that.
They'll discover it.
It's like he's trying to drastically lower expenses. That was my main argument. Is like,
Yeah.
Sure.
if you're trying to cut costs, isn't working from home a good way to do that? Rather than say, if you don't come to the office, then we won't pay you at all.
So would you rather 10 people working from home working at a 30% efficiency, or 2 to 5 people working from home, or working, sorry, I'm totally butchering this. If you want 10 people working from home with a 30% efficiency, or do you want 2 to 5 people working in the office with like an 80 to 100% efficiency? I mean, you can't get 100% efficiency, but something close.
I don't agree. I'd say working from home, because the overhead costs of a building and all that stuff, like that's all overhead costs that has nothing to do.
They're still running it, whether
would
you're there or
make-
not.
Well, it would make more sense in my view for companies like Tesla and SpaceX, because there's physical products being worked on.
Yeah.
That's not really happening with Twitter. It's not like a physical engineering project or a factory.
No.
This is all just
But there are
servers and
collaborations you
code
can
and-
do in person. There's meetings that you can have that
Sure.
you can get a lot more done with a face-to-face contact scenario, which is why Meta's like, why not metaverse where we can do face-to-face contact
God.
per se, or something like that? I
you
mean,
you get a
That's what I don't
certain.
understand, I guess.
There's a certain atmosphere that you can't replicate when you are face to face with people, and us, for example, there's an energy that we put out when all three of us are in a room together or a place together. Then doing one of these things, there is just something just like at a spiritual level that's found. It's just different. You have an output that is stronger, but having like meetings and stuff like that, it's not the same as like your day to day, which all of it has to do with online productivity, whether it's coding, security, the customer support, and then all the back end stuff, brand management, and all these other. A lot of that stuff doesn't require driving to an office to get onto a computer to just do the same thing that you would be able to do access at remotely. I mean, and if anybody, I would feel like Elon would understand that more than anyone. For all the other places that he has to go to do meetings or depositions, apparently, or anything like he has to go do these things. It involves going down to SpaceX or going to Austin or going to Freeway. He has to go to a lot of places, and that's part of his responsibility as being, the leader of these companies. And he can't he has to kind of take his work with him. So when he's in transit to something, before he gets to a meeting, either he's just tweeting, but he's also obviously working behind the scenes with
Yeah, do you think he
with his
won't
team.
do any Twitter-related work when he's at Tesla or SpaceX?
Of course he
he's
is.
going to use his phone and
Yeah.
talk to people. Oh, can you get started on this, please?
But you can't
Okay.
compare the CEO of multiple companies to whether it's a factory line worker on the floor or a coder in the middle of the office, or maybe not in the middle of the office, but a coder who's integral to Twitter Blue working and all that, or wrapping up all the
You
loose
think the
ends that
coder
Twitter does.
should be on site?
That's a tough question because it depends on what their experience has been. And I think with Elon trying to clean up Twitter and trying to make it a more profitable and better product, he's going back to basics of butts and seats in the office, working, face-to-face meetings and all that, so that we can ensure that work is being done, the efficiency loss is minimal, and that we don't have to pay 10 people, we can pay 2 people or 5 people, because he cut the whole company in half and all that. So it's just ensuring that there's no extraneous variables in play. So he's controlling the experiment a bit more. He's tying down a lot of the different things that could become a factor in the company dying. So I think that's maybe his mindset. I don't think necessarily it's a whole working in the office is better than working from home per se. I think it's just him controlling the inputs and outputs a little bit more, which makes sense for a company like Twitter that is not looking good.
Twitter is that picture you painted, Mike, feels like that works for startups, and I don't associate Twitter as such, no matter what the headcount is with.
You may
with
not
its
associate
personnel.
it, but that's how Elon runs his companies. See SpaceX, see Tesla, see Neuralink. They're all treated like startups in the mindset of you're working on the factory floor, you're sleeping in the rec room and all that. You are expected to output 120% all the time.
I mean, work efficiency, that's a universal mindset, but then like we're all humans and we're not robots. You're not going to be working 120% at all times.
Not
And
yet,
one size
according
does
to
not
Tesla.
fit. one size does not fit all. And what works for Tesla does not work
Agreed.
for SpaceX, and that does not work for Twitter. That doesn't work for the Boring Company or
Sure.
Neuralink. It didn't work for PayPal.
And so then I throw it back to his tweet of that we're just going to keep on throwing stuff at the wall, and we might make some dumb decisions, and we'll rectify from there. It's not just the software output to the user, but I think it also applies to the company as well.
I will say this: expenses of a building, paying rent at a building, is not the make it or break it factor about being profitable. So what them going on site, if they were to just shut that down completely, that doesn't then automatically save the company. And I think there are certain fundamental elements of business that would involve people who have to be on site. If servers were involved, you need to have somebody there, a sysadmin, to take care of any server maintenance and etc. But when it comes to applications or web apps or like social media as a whole, like it's all digital when it comes to the output of it. And I feel like a lot of that is just, it could be managed better. And how, because I think the bigger picture for me is he went a little heavy-handed about letting go of his
Just a little.
employees. And he's like, oh crap, come back. And he needed some people to stop the bleeding. Like, you go so heavy one way or to the other doesn't necessarily stop the hemorrhaging of it. And so that part of, like, we will make mistakes along the way, that's a mistake. If we're looking at efficiencies,
You don't say.
if we're looking,
We know.
we know.
We've
If
seen
we're looking
the
for
after effects.
efficiencies of it, I think the overall, I mean, Elon is he's trying to solve the problem that a board of directors as a public company was trying to solve with its employees and shareholders. Like, the problem didn't go away when he bought it. It's the same problem. And Twitter, though relevant and societally influential, it's not a big platform the same way like Google or Amazon has, or Meta with data, or just foot traffic. Twitter in that sense is very small. So in that sense, if we were to treat it like a startup in usage and personnel, those problems didn't go away when they got bought out. And he is getting jumping in the deep end, the cold water all at once. He's getting that reality check of it, like, oh crap. But something maybe pro Elon here. If anybody can figure it out, better him than anybody else. Like, he would be the one to figure it out.
Definitely.
And
I
that doesn't
definitely
mean he
agree with his repertoire.
That doesn't mean he will figure it out. There's a good chance it will all fail and he has to sell the company again and at a loss, and he's going to lose money, and which means shareholders of Tesla evidently are going to lose money. But it might not work. But he has a better chance than anybody else, because look how quickly he's doing these changes. 2 check marks. Crap. Never mind. 1 check mark. Wait. We got to do half
Command
employees.
Z.
Yeah, Command Z. Oops. Command oops. He fires people. Didn't mean to fire those people. He moves quick. He
He
moves.
brought some back. I saw that.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh no. His management style is very unorthodox.
You're unfired. I need you. Come on.
You're fired. Wait.
He goes,
You're on fire.
hey, could I work from home? You serious? Get out of my building.
What? Just standing there? Mr.
Oh, he
Musk,
designed the
can I work
algorithm
from home?
for the
Well, I do.
serious?
I know that it's like Twitter Blue is like only $8 a month and all that, but it does seem silly that also on this Q&A call that he told Brand, or the question came up of, does this mean companies like Volvo or for Facebook, or I guess Vans, or all these other companies that have a presence on Twitter, do they have to pay $8 a month? And his response was, yeah, the expectation is they would, but if someone is hell-bent on not paying, then I guess I'll pay for them, which I don't know if is the right call, but also
No, that doesn't make sense.
it's only $8 a month, but then if you add it up for all these companies, like, it's not just like 30 companies times 8. It's like there's a whole bunch of companies that are supposed to be verified on Twitter and all that. So you add that up, multiply it by
You pay
8.
more. You that is like 1/10 or 1/100th the amount what you would pay with these brands for advertisements on online, whether it's through Google, Meta, or whoever, and just tacking an additional like under $100, rounded up $100 a year for server maintenance costs is I just transaction fee to have that on top of the tens of thousands of dollars that advertisement costs to get it out to as far. Any company that should I pay the $8 a month is absolutely ridiculous. That's a tax write-off on your business. Shut your freaking mouth. Pay the $8 then. Like don't do that. Don't nickel and dime this to prove a point. That is silly. I can understand Joe Schmo with 2 followers being verified. I don't think I should pay $8. Yeah, I can understand where your headspace is at if that's the case.
I sell shoes in Seattle on 58th and 1st. I'm a business.
Techno King 1080 coming at you with my 3 followers verified. What's up?
I'll just mention I'm surprised how many people signed up, to be honest.
Yeah.
Me too.
I
So
did
much
not
blue.
expect the take rate to be so high. And like Randy said, there were people I knew that were outspoken against it that I've seen now
Cha-ching.
subscribe to it.
A lot more blue
And
than
I'm
I saw
like-
in the polls.
Yeah, no, for real. It doesn't feel like 10% of people got blue, at least in my social circle. Now, it could just be because it's the new hot thing.
It's also
We'll
showing
see
you
if
more
it-
blue accounts because of how the algorithm goes, where you're more prioritized if you're a Twitter Blue member to be seen by others.
Right.
So it could be that
Exactly.
that you're seeing, but also, I'm in part agreeing with you as well. I think it's a little bit more than 10%.
It feels like it, but what I have a hard time getting my brain to wrap around is Elon thinks they can get 50% of their revenue through subscriptions. That is like, especially if you watched the Dear Twitter video Marquez did. He mentioned how a very, very small percentage of YouTube viewers pay for premium. It's like less than a tenth it's less than a 1% or something. It's insanely small. It was like something like 20 million people and there's over 2 billion active. So it's a very tiny fraction of the platform that's willing to pay for premium, which I do. I think it's worth it. I think it's a better deal than Twitter Blue personally, but
You're not even paying premium. You're paying red right now.
oh yeah, I'm still on red pricing. I forgot. That's going to change next year, unfortunately.
Twitter
but
Blue,
yeah.
YouTube Red.
Nope.
Missed
that.
They've got it going on. But I think they'll,
Randy
just
Green.
like Elon always does, tweaks things, tries things. If it doesn't work, to try something else. And I do respect that. I mean, it's funny that a lot of us are defending or saying this is a good call or a good move by Elon when how much we complain about him offline.
Yeah.
we,
Yeah.
we really have all these issues with him that we tend to not bring
Oh,
up,
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess. But
Don't for a second think that we're all in support of every single decision that this billionaire has made. But also know
I
that
think there's some fundamental things he gets right.
yeah.
Like, I'm happy that there is a CEO of a social media company that is using the platform saying, here's your complaint hotline operator. Tell me what's
love it.
wrong.
I
Like,
love
He
it.
just comes forward. Everyone, tell me what you hate about Twitter. Will Zuckerberg ever do that? Would he post on Facebook?
Twitter
Tell
Santa.
me what you hate about
I
Facebook.
want you to fix this.
Okay.
That's what it's like. And he's straight up like, we will make a lot of bad decisions. Like,
He's
we're gonna do
he's
a
the
lot of
Moss
dumb
Santa
things.
right now. He's Moss Santa.
Can you imagine Tim Cook doing that? Like, it
Being
would
Santa?
be insane.
Nice to skip.
Everyone, Santa Cook's nice list. Can you imagine if he went up and he was like, "What do you guys hate about the iPhone?" Like, just welcome the floodgates of hatred, and he's just encouraging it. Elon is bringing it on. He's like, "Tell me what you
Wow.
hate."
I can't even imagine
Wow.
running into him or Craig or anyone else in public. No one else around, just me and them somehow found each other outside of business and no one else is there. And I asked that question. I don't think they would even answer that
No,
honestly.
like the Wall Street Journal interview with Craig and Jaws.
Well, yeah,
They,
that's like
dodge
an-
every question.
I would say that's more of an
Who's to
official thing, but
say?
like even off the record, like being like, I'm not even a journalist. I'm just curious. What would you want to see next in an iPhone? You don't have to leak anything, or like, what do you think is bad about it? I don't think they'd even answer that question, or they'd just laugh it off and walk away, or they'd just be like, this phone is great. And that's it.
And there is nothing wrong with any of our product. Yeah,
Yeah,
whereas Elon's
so-
just like, yeah, that was stupid.
I admire
That was a bad
the
idea.
honesty, but
Yes.
there's
He's
so
not.
much.
He's not beholden to anybody like that. In that sense, that like he doesn't have to do an earnings call now for Twitter. Like that's the beauty of like. Last week I said I don't think anybody should own Twitter because it's just too important. But if anyone was to do it, like the fact that he doesn't have to answer to anybody, he doesn't have to be publicly or excuse me, politically correct or you know, well, our earnings show us that by the fourth fiscal year we would be able to have a net profit. Like he'd just be like, look, that didn't work. We didn't like it, and we move on. And that's what I'm saying. If anybody had a best chance of making this work, he does.
I agree. Yes.
Because he's so
if there is
anti.
a way to make it work, he'll
thing.
find it. But if
Yeah.
there's a chance there isn't, there's a chance it might not work.
Yeah.
Right.
It's gonna have a ripple
Okay.
effect. This will have a ripple effect to go. I would not be surprised. Instagram
Yeah.
or TikTok or what? Like, all right, cool. What's up? You want to pay? Cha-ching, cha-ching. You want to pay? We got
Now you're
Insta.
scaring me.
I'm so.
It'll just be like ads on Disney Plus and Netflix.
I had to pay to get the artist note thing on YouTube. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
It's I see this now instead of being niche to certain like category of whatever I am. I could see that like, oh, cool. You guys like check marks? Oh, right. Well, subscribe to Twitter Premium Plus or YouTube Premium Plus, and you're gonna get all these other perks. And yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting for the edit button. I refuse to subscribe to Twitter Blue.
I just
Yeah,
want the edit button. That's all
Really,
I want.
I feel like it almost makes a statement now to not sign up to Twitter Blue, especially when you're of
I'm cooler. Yeah, we're
certain
cooler not
size.
doing it, guys.
Blue check mark who?
They're like, wow, he isn't verified, and that's the flex.
I
It's
am
like, I don't
plebeian.
need priority replies because, you know, it's the
'Cause I'm
Zuckerberg.
that important?
Not Zuck. It's the Mark Hamill move in Last Jedi.
I'm plebeian and I'm proud. I'm plebeian and I'm proud. Say it with
The
me.
lack of check mark makes you less
Is that what he
insecure.
calls it?
It's like, I don't, that stuff doesn't bother me. I've got nothing to compensate for.
Yeah.
But no, to the people that, you know, I was memeing on all the Blue subscribers yesterday, and there were people that are like, well, you know, I have a small channel and I'm trying to get bigger and I just want to say to those people, this will not help you. This will not, as a content creator, to anyone who wants to become a full-time content creator who is striving for that, don't listen to anyone that says in order for your channel to grow or in order for you to have success, you need to sign up for this thing. You need to take this class. You need to have this check by your name. That's not it.
Well said.
You're going about it the wrong way.
Yep.
So,
There are no shortcuts. You can't buy your way to that status that you're trying to achieve. I guarantee you will have adverse effects on your own self-esteem if you think you could just buy your way to it. Even if like you get some type of like, well, look, I got 3 more followers. I'm good job. But that you're faking it so you make it a little too literal. Where at that point,
and they're following you for the wrong reason,
yes,
which means they're not long lasting. That's not sustainable growth, which I don't think people are following people just because they, oh my God, is that a Twitter Blue subscribe? It reminds me of those
you're
memes that
a
people are
Reddit
posting
mod?
around on.
Oh my goodness.
You paid $8? It reminds me of those TikToks that were going around of like, can't remember who it was, but they have like high school girls were coming up to you. Oh my God, are you that guy that plays Minecraft on YouTube? And, like, tries to make you feel special. Oh yeah, that's me. I paid for Blue. I know.
Yeah, that's not how you do it. If your end game is that you want to look like you have the relevance of it, then fine. But if you actually want to take the online sector of things seriously, there are no shortcuts, and no one has the answers.
You're not going to tell your story one day of how, well, my channel really took off when I made that reply. And because I was verified, I was prioritized. So a lot of people saw that tweet I made, and then it all changed. That's when I really got noticed. That's
when
really
the Fire
took off.
Nation attacked.
Did you guys notice we got to wrap up here, but did you guys notice that the $7.99 a month thing says limited time offer?
No, because I didn't try
Probably
to
just
subscribe.
jumped- No.
I didn't either, but people were tweeting about it. They were
No, I
like,
haven't seen
hey, look, it says limited time, so do you think it's going to go up again?
Yeah.
Or they'll
To 20.
grandfather you in?
It's jumping up
Hell
to 20, I'm sure.
no, they are not grandfathering in. And no. People have that amnesty period about if you were verified before this transition, you get like X amount of time before you're gonna start paying for it. There's no way $8. Like, well, I guess that's your legacy cost, and you're in it. You need to have 50% of cash flow be subscriber. No, hell no, nope.
I'm just saying, I think it's too early for them to decide if this is limited time or not. Like, if the take rate is low, they may have to lower the price.
30-day grace period, and then it's going to go back to $20, like I said.
I was joking that it's going to go down, and everyone who wanted it earlier had to pay extra.
That's amazing.
Limited time, $8. Next month, $4.
Then I
Thanks
saved
for the money.
I saved myself $12 then. Wow. Question for all of you.
So you think their assumption is that lots of people are going to sign up because, hey, that's a great price. And then once lots of people are comfortable with it and they roll out more of the features, then they're going to up it to 20 or maybe slower than that. Maybe they start at 9 or 10. And that
They'll
way
take the
everyone's like,
FSD
well, I've
approach.
had it for this long and I'll look like an idiot if I cancel because then my check will go away. And all
It'll
of
be
my
the FSD
precious
approach.
followers will be like,
Where
what happened? Huh? You broke? What?
oh,
I think it's-
didn't have a good month this year, I see.
I think it's going to be exactly like FSD, where it starts low at $8, and then it's going to go
It'll
up.
be $15,000.
Twitter Blue Beta. Sign up. We might give it to you, which allows you to have a re-edit button, so you can actually re-edit, or you can unedit.
What
Oh,
will it
God.
take you guys? What will it take for you guys to subscribe to Twitter Blue?
It goes
You go ahead,
down
Mike. Randy
to
knows what I think.
it goes down to 99 cents a month or something like that. Then I'm like, okay,
Oh,
$1
You're not
a
looking for
month.
features. You're just
Well-
the price is too expensive.
If it keeps the features it has now and drops down to 99 a month, I would try it out for maybe a few months then. But otherwise, yeah, if $8.90 or $7.99 is the base price, it's only going to go up. You're gonna have to add a whole bunch of different features and like things, and or just make Twitter so unbelievably terrible if you're not verified or Twitter Bluefied. I think at that point, either it's like I either pay the $7.99 just to get rid of the headache, or I just move on to another social media and I give up on Twitter. So
What would
It's-
make your experience better on Twitter if it got so, like, assume nothing changes, same ads, same 2 minutes 20-second video upload, everything how your experience is right now, what would make that experience better for you, assuming all those new things would involve going to Twitter Blue? What would you look for as, like, I could do that?
0 ads.
0 ads. I like
Give
that
me
one.
0 ads. I hate seeing an ad every other post. It's annoying.
Mac
I'm
app.
tired of it. I don't have my Mac Studio with me all the time. In fact, I'm usually at work more than I am at home these days.
That sounds like a you problem.
I don't have internet. Okay, whatever. Skill issue. Whatever. What about you, Drew?
Aren't MacBooks great, Randy?
Shut up.
I take mine everywhere.
That's a lie. That is such a lie.
I'm just kidding. I love your Mac Studio mic. But wait, what are you asking? What would get me to subscribe, or what would get me to leave?
Subscribe. What features? What would it take for a subscription of Twitter Blue? Say we're at the $8 right now. So for the $8 a month entry point, what would Twitter need to offer to make you go, you know what? Yeah, I tried this. I'll do this.
The only thing I could justify, because just as a reminder, I canceled my iCloud, which was 99 cents a month.
Not even a
And
sheep.
it wasn't because I needed the money. It was because of the principle of the thing.
Yes, sir.
It didn't matter if it was $10 a month, $20. It's not a matter of cost to me. Whether Twitter Blue is $8 or $20, it doesn't really matter. To me, as just a news delivery service, I've never had to pay for it. I don't feel like I should. I feel like there should always be a free tier. That will be what I assume most people will have. But the only way I could justify it is if there was a way for it to pay for itself, essentially, which is a clear path to monetization, which is why I'm not ruling it out like I'll never get it. But I will reiterate, if there was a way for me to pay for Twitter Blue to get monetized but not be verified, I would do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about the checkmark stuff. I could care less about, are they verified or not? That to me is just status chasing. And that's why I'm still against the concept of paying for it, because that doesn't solve the status thing. It means there's more people that can flex now, because you don't have to know someone at Twitter to get verified anymore. But it is still another way to differentiate between I paid and you didn't. And I thought verification should be just a simple way to know who you're talking to is the person they say they are.
Yeah.
It should not be a feature. It should not be a selling point of a service. I still feel very confident about verification through government-issued ID or external brand linking. That's all it should take. There shouldn't be and I still find it ridiculous that there's these accounts that don't have names. They don't have their face in their profile picture. They don't have a YouTube channel. They're not they're just this random account with a bunch of random characters in their name or emojis, and they want to be verified. Yeah. They want the check mark. For what? No one's looking you up. No one's like, is that the real book emoji, sun emoji, LJX294? Is that him? That's what it's for. Is to like, if you're trying to be anonymous, then verification is stupid. I'm sorry. If you don't want to direct people towards anything and you don't want people to know who you are, why do you want to be verified? That's what I can't understand. So I would be interested in subscribing to Blue if they were like, because Elon said, we want to do better than YouTube's 55% ad revenue share. We want people to upload longer form content that there would be ads on, and we could pay content creators. That's more my line of interest. And I still think it's amazing that YouTube doesn't charge anything for hosting. Most people don't realize that is rare, and that was unheard of before YouTube offered it. So because Twitter is in a dire, his words, a dire financial situation, they're not in a good economic climate, it's completely fair and justifiable to me that they say, if you want to be a creator that can monetize their content, you got to sign up for Blue. Whether that's $8, $20 a month, doesn't really matter to me. I understand the upfront cost. And you also just don't want to make every Joe Schmo, every nobody just start posting content that takes up all this server space. You want a barrier so that not everybody just goes, okay, fine, I'll just start posting all of my Minecraft live streams to Twitter now, and it's 8 hours of 1080p content. They don't want that. Yeah. They want you. Are you serious about this? Then better pay up. If they did that and the CPMs were pretty competitive, like I could try it, and then if putting a video on Twitter and it gets 10,000 views makes like 2 cents, then I'd be like, okay, no, this isn't, I can't justify this. But if it was a revenue stream to where the money that my Twitter account was making was paying for Blue, and then some, then I could get behind it. But not for the check. Not for the limited ads. That's not that big a deal to me because I have the Twitter Mac app, and not for the curated news stories. I don't care about priority replies. That's not really a important thing to me. It's like, oh, I need him to respond. I need Elon to see me. It's he probably won't see. With this many people verified, it kind of defeats the purpose of trying to stand out. Yeah. So if there's a way for it to pay itself, that's my answer.
I exactly parallel to Drew. That's my stance. It was
monetizable then.
Monetizable. Yeah. There has to be a clear path to monetization. I would want a YouTube, or excuse me. Well, that's the thing. I compare it to YouTube. I would want a Twitter partner program equivalent that is competitive. Spoiler. This is partly what Drew and I were talking about offline. So I was just setting up for hitting. We're playing baseball hug. Yeah, he got it. The only thing I would add on to
basically the short of it is, as a creator, yes, I would consider Blue. As a consumer, no.
Yeah. The only thing I think you forgot to mention, well, maybe it's implied, but a lot of people don't understand this. The monetization has to be competitive with YouTube, not of TikTok. I don't want a creator fund. I don't want a creator pool. Not a bucket that everyone shares the distribution, because the more creators that are in that, the smaller your cut is. I don't like that business model, and that's what TikTok does. That's what Instagram does, and that's what YouTube Reels or YouTube Shorts do. I don't like that.
So they're changing it or something.
Yeah, they are changing it. It's because it's okay. That's a bad way, and a lot of people don't understand that. But to be fair, a lot of people, I think, who aspire for that haven't hit that one point where if I don't fault anybody for not being part of the YouTube partner program, so they don't understand the analytics of it. But that's where my attention is at: is how can you make your branding, monetizable, successful. Like, if this is what I'm saying, like, getting the check mark does not validate you. Having income, making this a business. Now we're talking more business mindset of it, but that's what makes you successful. Getting the ability to get paid for something that you love is at least my goal, or my dreams of saying that I've made it. You're doing what you love, not the status symbol of it. And in that sense, yeah, if I could forego, even if it costs more, if I could forego the check mark, I don't care about the check mark. I care about what the end result of what comes back to you at the end of it. So everything that you put into it and what comes back to you. I get nothing out of the check mark. I get no validation. I get no comfort. I get bragging rights, but I mean, look at me. I'm amazing.
It's turned
I don't
into
need to
such
brag.
a culture thing that I don't even want it. Like, but before I would have said, like, if it's just a simple way to verify a brand, sure, fine. I took the YouTube verification because I just want people to know it's me. It's not a bot. But now that they've turned Twitter verification into such a status thing, and it's gotten so big and everyone's talking about it, now I just don't even want it.
Yeah.
I'm like, even if you offered it, I would be like, no, thank you.
Yeah. If getting the check mark is a result, is just because of the fact that you are a partner in Twitter, then fine. But not check mark first, then try to become the partner, and then check. But the thing is, like you said, the check mark is such a. Drew brought up a good point, ladies and gentlemen. If you heard that, what happens to the people, or you individual, if you fall in this category, if one day you stop paying for Twitter Blue, it gets too expensive, and then all this time you thought like, wow, I'm very. And people are talking because I'm such the arbiter of our time. I say things, and with my check mark, I am now the next. I'm the next Aristotle or something. Look at me. And
Why
then
Aristotle?
stop. I don't know, because everyone thinks that they're a philosopher.
Why not Jimmy Carter?
Good pronunciation on that word.
But
there was maybe it's because we followed Tesla that we don't trust this as much. But right now, verification is cool because it felt rare and special. But as time progresses, I think it will become less special and less rare, and that maybe that novelty feeling will wear off for people. But The better question you were asking though is what would get you to leave. I don't think I would stay if Twitter became paid only.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I can't get behind that.
Yeah.
And I don't think most people. I'd be like, okay, bye Twitter. I guess I'm not on Twitter anymore. It would suck. It would be really sad,
I have
but-
left other platforms for less. So
Yeah, that's true.
Snapchat did nothing wrong to me, and I'm like, this is terrible.
That's me with Facebook. I just didn't like Meta,
Yeah.
but I was like, yeah, I'm done with this.
If I had to
Right.
pay to yeah, no. There's
Probably
It-
be better for me to give up Twitter.
if you have to pay, if anybody has to pay to have, and I'm thinking like a brand here, for your brand to be sustainable in 2022, your business strategy was flawed from the beginning. It failed from the beginning. There's something wrong with it. You don't have a good business model then. If the only way people see your stuff is that you have to be on Twitter and you have to pay, or if you have to pay anything, I just, in a world full of algorithms, it's part of the business that's online ads and algorithms, and it's that gross symbiotic relationship of it. I do not see a world where I have to pay to be seen or heard online. That's not a world I want to be a part of. That's not a world I condone, and that's me voting with my dollar by holding on to my dollar. I like the option, always an option. But if they're like, listen, the only way it's going to work, what Mike was alluding to with his response is that it got so bad I have to pay, then I don't have to pay. I don't have to be here. And if my business model fails because I'm not on Twitter, then I had a bad business model to begin with, and I need to restructure it.
Agreed.
Yep.
That's fair.
At the end of
YouTube's
our
also implementing tons of community. You can post text. You can post pictures now. You can
do polls,
I would just-
yeah.
you can do polls, yeah, and they're better than Twitter polls, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would just go all in. Just be like, hey, this is the bigger platform. This is where I am. This is where most of my people watch my stuff. I'm going all in on YouTube then. So don't basically Twitter and YouTube if those are by divorced parents. I'm
gonna go live with YouTube.
gonna go live. I pick YouTube. Don't ask me to choose one or the other.
Yikes.
It's like if it comes to that, I'm not sticking with Twitter. It's not like die by Twitter. I need it to survive.
I want to just point out that the iPhone 14 Pro came with always on display on, and I haven't done anything. I've left it alone, and now I am at 97% when we started. I was at 100%. Always on display is not good.
Mm-hmm. I turned
It is
that off
totally-
on my mom's. I turned it off on mine after the first week. I'm like,
purposely going to run it for 24 hours just to
Yes, I'm not alone. Finally.
see. I like the idea of always on because I have it
still
on the
have it
watch
on
right
the
now. I kind of
watch.
play with it, but
Oh, I hate the idea of it.
listen, Drew, what am I going
As
to do
you
with
can
60
see.
hours of battery life but have always on?
Whatever you want. All right.
The phone is
There.
yeah.
That was a really good Apple-centric podcast.
Hey. Hey, that's a great. Hey, one more sign off. It's not a get your bingo cards ready. If I don't cancel us, it doesn't work. But
Oh, dear Lord.
to our friends in Taiwan, I see you. I love you. You are a country. Now what? That's right.
I love
see
that-
you.
People can never have a layover flight in China.
Yeah, Ukrainian
I also-
people. You are Ukraine. You are not Russia. I see you. I love you. Don't at me.
I also wanted to give a shout out after all.
Oh,
these
yeah.
wonderful,
Oh, my God.
all these wonderful shout outs / recognitions of other countries. I want to shout out Diego Villa Muag. I'm totally butchering your name. I'm sorry, dude. Villa Magua.
Attempted shout
Diego. Basically, what was it, a couple podcasts ago, I was talking about how I wished I could connect the HomePods to my Xbox in a way, and I brought out the Series X around that time, and the Series X doesn't have it with the dual HDMI ports, but the One X has it. Anyways, he mentioned you can use your HomePods as speakers. You just have to connect the HDMI port from the Apple TV to the EARC HDMI port on the TV, in which when you do that, and then you enable the setting in the audio settings for using that as an audio return channel, as long as the Apple TV is on, the TV will use those speakers as the speakers for whatever media you're watching, whether you're watching YouTube, HBO Max, or playing Xbox on the TV through whatever HDMI or smart app that you're using.
So did you try it? You used it?
I've tried it, and immediately my wife is like, that sounds amazing. What changed? I'm like, I changed these settings, and now Ghost of Tsushima sounds 1,000% more ambient and amazing, in which the game's already
Nice.
ambient and amazing.
That's awesome.
It just sounds
Wonderful.
1,000% better. So thank you, Diego. You've made my
Go, Diego, go.
Stop. Let's see. It's the text cannot be smaller on the screen, so I'm struggling to read it. But it looks like it's Diego via Maguya.
Randy's doing the grandma meme with the glasses.
The text is so small I can't see it. But
reading Diego's comment about ARC HDMI, and she's like,
how come I can't get Skype to work? Diego,
that's not
via
Skype,
Magua.
Grandma, that's Discord.
Via Maguya. Via Maguya. Via Magua.
Awesome.
There you go.
All right,
I'm
folks.
sorry, Diego.
Tight.
Next episode is our last of Series 6, last episode of 2022. So we'll catch you guys then. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Send us questions.